No matter where you come from, no matter where you're going, here's a place where you can take comfort in the knowing that whether if you've come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come, let's pray together. Come, love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you. If there's some kind of trouble or pain you're going through, know that you are not alone and someone cares for you. As an individualization of divine point of view, this door is open to you. This door is open. This door right here, this door is open to you. Is open for you. This door is open to you. This door is open. I'm talking about this door. This door is open. I said this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us.
Good morning. Come on in. This is our beautiful welcome song by Eddie Watkins Jr., who was here just a couple of weeks ago to share with us. My name is Reverend Christy Corna, and I am the Associate Minister here. And I just want to welcome everyone, and welcome to our live stream viewers. Thank you for joining us in all the many ways. We are actually, people participate in our community around the globe, so that's it's just wonderful to be a part of a community that is just so far-reaching and so supportive and empowering. We have a very special day. Today we have John Stringer in the house for music. We have Reverend Jim Rosemergy, who will be sharing inspiration with us. All right, so let's just open in prayer. I invite you to close your eyes if you feel so moved. And we know that there is only one life. It is divine in nature. That divine creative energy that is a source of all life. The source of all that is, seen and unseen. Every moment is a holy instant. Peace and health and wholeness, harmony and balance, all that spirit is, all that God is the very essence of life. And so we come together this day to be reminded of that, not only within ourselves, but to recognize that in one another, that spark of the divine, that holy life, that divinity. So many unique expressions of the one. And the essence of this life is love. It is peace. It is perfection. And when we relax into the awareness of that, all is well with our soul. And so with deep, profound gratitude for this community, for each of us that shows up and says yes, for recognizing the divinity in one another, and to always leaning more and more and more into love, we give thanks and we allow it to be, and so it is. Amen. So it's a wonderful opportunity. If folks are new here, We have our greeters in the back, our ushers in the back that have a blue card for you if you'd like to fill this out and join our email list. That goes out weekly and tells you about all the really cool things happening here. If you'd like to raise your hand and be acknowledged in that way. Wonderful. Thank you for joining us, and we'll connect with you definitely after the service. And also take a look around at one another. This is who you're in spiritual community with. And just do a little namaste, recognizing and honoring the God presence in one another. And then turn around and wave to the camera back there and our amazing IT team, our AV team. Thank you. Thank you for the live streamers. We recognize the divinity in you. And we're going to bless our children. So Reverend Gabby and Reverend Barbara Ann and any youth who would like to join, if you're not already back there, what we're going to do is extend a blessing. We just open our minds, open our hearts, and say, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity in you. Thank you. So we have an amazing youth program, ages 5 and up, FYI. All right, so I am going to call John Stringer up here and introduce John. John's an amazing artist. He's just a beautiful, gentle soul. I love his voice. I love the songs he's about to sing. I've been listening to him all week. He's a life teacher, speaker, Billboard charting singer, songwriter, healer, and author with a passion for music, community expansion, and limitless love and light. He and his wife, Kathy, travel and are here. They do events. There's a upcoming event in September, right? Big Glow Retreat here. And they travel around and do that all the time. And he's here to share his music. There is music available out there. There's product out in the lobby. So please see Kathy following the service today and take some John Stringer home with you. Everybody help me welcome John Stringer.
There is a place in my heart where I find the truth. I find me and you, a truth beyond what you may see now. But when we are one, we bring more good about. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. And be who you are and let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. See with new eyes, allow and unfold, embrace and let go, trust the flow. There's a freedom in love when you follow your heart. Together we are stronger than we could ever be apart. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. And be who you are and let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome. welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. Yeah, when we unite. Oh, 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 oh. When we unite. Yeah, yeah. Oh, when we unite. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Can you help me sing? You are welcome here. You are welcome. Love is welcome here. Peace is welcome here. Can you break it down, Ben? You are well. Help me sing it, please. You are welcome. Love is welcome. Peace is welcome here. You are welcome here. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you, John. Beautiful. Well, now, just about welcomeness and community, it is a theme today. And I want to thank you for being a part of this spiritual community. And I want to take the opportunity to invite up here Reverend Morgan Barclay. He is our support minister, unity minister, and he's got some information to share for our community.
I'll steal her notes and then she'll be in real trouble. Good morning. I want to start with a question for you. What would you like your legacy to be? Whether you're 44 or 84, I think it's a great question to kind of ask yourself. I hope when I leave this world, I'll leave it a little more kind, more loving, and more compassionate. And another piece I'd like to leave it is to leave some of my resources to Unity of the Blue Ridge. Because this is the place where people find a pathway to realize their divinity. And I believe this happens most often in community. So with that in mind, I'm announcing today that we are starting a legacy program at Unity of the Blue Ridge. And we will use this to create funds that will allow us to create programs that we haven't even envisioned yet. I hope you can get excited about that. And by the way, you don't have to be dying to do this. I have designated part of my annuity to Unity of the Blue Ridge, and I'm not dead. So anyway, so there are definitely tax advantages that you can only receive while you're still alive, and many that your heirs can receive after you depart. So if you have questions, there'll be several of us out in the lobby, and we'll be glad to answer them. What the heck does a legacy program look like? And I want to thank team members Michael Winter, Judy McCall, and Peter Gollop, and Reverend Darlene for helping create this opportunity. And thank you, Donna, for creating some easy-to-use materials on our website. So when Reverend Darlene returns in the fall and celebrating her 60th birthday, I envision we have $60,000 in that fund to start her off. So I want to close with a quote from a mentor of mine who puts this at the bottom of each of his emails. Vision to see, faith to believe, courage to do. And that is what this community is about. God bless you.
Thank you, Reverend Morgan. And when you go out into the lobby, there's a table set up on the left with information for that, and they're happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you to the team. And speaking of Rev Darlene, Reverend Darlene is our senior minister. She is on sabbatical through September, and wanted to make sure that we said a big community thank you to everyone for her sabbatical send-off and the early celebration of her 60th birthday. So she sends her blessings and is so grateful for this community and looks forward to seeing all of us in September. So I wanted to share that she's connected and is so grateful for all of you. So thank you for that beautiful send-off we all did a couple of weeks ago for Reverend Darlene. And now I would like to introduce Reverend Jim Rosemergy. Yeah, we are so blessed to have him back, and he will be with us again next weekend, and then the 7th of August. And just a beautiful seeker of the mystical life, and he's an author of 15 books, which, by the way, are available for you out there. And so please, he's here with his beloved wife, Nancy, and they come. He's a retired Unity minister, and he's served in the movement for over 40 years. He retired from active ministry in 2017 after being the senior minister at Unity of Fort Myers in Florida. During his ministerial career, he pioneered 2 ministries, served an additional 3 churches, was president of the Association of Unity Churches, and the executive vice president of Unity's worldwide headquarters at Unity Village. Yeah, he's married to his beloved Nancy, and together they have 2 amazing sons, 2 wonderful daughters-in-law, and 2 sweet granddaughters. Jim and Nancy enjoy hiking, golf, kayaking, the wonders and silence of nature. So please help me welcome Reverend Jim Rosemergy.
Good morning. Better morning than that, right? Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you. It's wonderful to be in this ministry. We were here in September, and we had some big plans to spend more time around here, particularly these times of speaking where Darlene had invited me. We are buying a camper van. It was supposed to be here in March, supposed to be here in May, supposed to be here in July, and now it looks like it's coming in August. But we had these big plans to kind of be camping right now, spend a week here, and then speak with you next week, and then go on home. But we love this area. About 2 years ago, oh no, it was a year ago, we were celebrating our 50th wedding anniversary. How about that? Yes. And because of COVID, we ended up doing it our 51st, but we came down the Blue Ridge, and then we were in the area. And you all are so blessed to be here and be a part of this area and this ministry. And Darlene and the team that's here, it's just an amazing place. It really is. And thought I'd ask you a question today. What was the most astonishing thing about Jesus? Was it that he walked on the water? Turned water to wine? For the sick, it was probably the healings. For the poor, maybe turning 5 loaves of bread and 2 loaves or 2 fish and feeding 5,000 people. For a traditional Christian, probably it was the resurrection, because that's the foundation of their faith. But the scripture tells a different story. What's written there is that the most astonishing thing about Jesus was that he spoke as one having his own authority. His authority wasn't the scripture of his day. It wasn't the Torah. It wasn't the prophets. It wasn't the edicts of the high priest. His authority was different than that. What the people sensed in Jesus, I think, was connection. He had a connection with God, and that was astounding, because in those days, God was in the Holy of Holies, in the temple, on the mount, far from the people. Among them, but one man, the high priest, entered that Holy of Holies once a year. But Jesus had a connection, and it was astonishing. And so when he spoke, the people heard the voice of God. When he did the various things that he did, it was God in action. It's astonishing. Now, what's the most astonishing thing about you? What's the most astonishing thing? Jesus said, you can do the things that I do, and greater things than these. You have the same capacity. Well, he wouldn't have said that. He said, love one another as I have loved you. We must have the capacity, or he wouldn't have said, love as I have loved. So I'm here to tell you that you can be the place where God's kindness appears, God's compassion, wisdom, generosity. You can be that place. That's why you've been placed on earth, to be that expression, the light of the world. So I want to give you a couple of examples, one from Jesus, one from one of his disciples, and some more today, of that actually happening, where someone has a connection and that Spirit moves through them. First is this. There was a woman brought to Jesus, thrown at a heap at his feet. She was caught in the very act of adultery. And there she is before him, probably partially clothed, pulling her garments around her, sobbing, shaking. And there are men there that have brought her. Interesting, just an aside. They found the woman, but they somehow didn't get the man. The man got away. Kind of an interesting aside, isn't it? But these men, they know the law. And it is that this woman is to be stoned to death. And they are there, I would imagine, with stones in their hands, and they are ready to carry out the sentence. And Jesus, he's been saying some things recently that made the men and others think Jesus doesn't conform to the law. And so they're going to test him. And there's the woman, and they say, what shall we do with her? Jesus bends down, and he kind of scribbles on the ground. People say, boy, I'd like to know what he wrote. Probably didn't write anything. But it was a way of conveying to us, the reader, that he drew close to the woman. He was there with her. And then he looks at the men, and he said, he who is without sin among you, let him be the first to cast a stone. And then you heard this. You know what that sound is? It's the sound of the stones falling to the ground. And they start to walk away. And maybe there's one of them, he has his stone, he's still holding on to it, and he just tosses it at the woman. It rolls up against her leg. And Jesus says to the woman, where are your accusers? They're gone. Go and sin no more, he said to her. And so my point is this. Jesus bent down and he said probably the only words that could have been spoken that saved her life. He would, if he stood up and he confronted the men, they probably would have stoned him too. But he said the perfect thing to save her life. And not only her life, perhaps it gave those men pause as well. So who knows what effect those words had on those men as well. That's what I'm talking about. That's the subject today. It's connection. And when the connection is there, then God's words can be spoken. They can be heard. So that's the first one. Second one takes place in northern Israel, at a place called Caesarea Philippi. There's a lot of water there, but not much rain. One of the we're going to be at a place where one of the three sources for the River Jordan flows out of the ground. At this place called Caesarea Philippi. There's a large cave there, and there's quite a rush of water. There's a temple there, and the temple is dedicated to Caesar, with worship of Caesar as a god, which is real interesting considering what's about to happen there. So Jesus is there with his disciples, and I think they're probably in the shade of the trees because it's hot there. Trees are small. They're stumpy because there's not much rain. He's with his disciples. He says, "Who do men say that I am?" In other words, what's the word on the street about me? And the disciples say, "Oh, they say Jeremiah, Elijah, one of the prophets." And he says, "Well, who do you say?" And Simon says, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." And Jesus recognizes that some kind of connection has taken place, some type of an experience in Simon Peter. And he says, "Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah," that's Simon, son of Jonah, "for flesh and blood hasn't revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven." So Jesus recognizes that Peter is speaking of this authority that comes from a connection. Then he goes on to say, there's a little play on words here, because in Greek, Peter's name is changed fully to Peter, is Petros. It means rock. And so Jesus says, "And upon this rock I will build my church." And so our Catholic brothers and sisters have interpreted that to mean the creation of a pope as the foundation upon which the church is built. And our Catholic friends have done real well. I'm not arguing with that. But I don't think that's what Jesus meant. It wasn't that the church was to be built upon Peter. It was to be built upon what happened to Peter. And that is an experience of God. And in fact, my friends, that's the foundation of this ministry. People having experiences, connection with God. That's the foundation. That's the foundation not of just of a church. That's the foundation of a spiritual life. Connection. That's what it's all about. Conscious connection. The connection is there. It has to become conscious. So here's the question. How? How do we live our lives in preparation so that we open ourselves and we can experience the presence of God? To be the place where God's wisdom is asserted, where the love and the kindness and the acceptance, compassion shows up. How shall we live? I've been actually working on a book for about at least 5 years, maybe more. I just finished it and published in a publisher's hands as of last week. And yay, yay, yay. Let me tell you the title of the book. An autobiography, so this is a memoir, an autobiography of a Christian heretic. So this is a story about my spiritual journey. So it's not so much about what happened outside of me or in my life as what had happened inside of me. And stories are shared about what happened outside, but it's all related to what happens on the inside. Understand? I got to the last chapter. The title used to be, How Shall I Live? So I was looking at all of my life. I'm about to be, what is it, Wednesday? I'm going to be 75, is that right? Wednesday, I'm going to be 75. So I'm looking back on my life, and I'm trying to determine, how do I live? This journey, how do I live? And then what happened, I realized I lived my life according to 4 allegiances. I give my allegiance to 4 things. Let me tell you what they are. Allegiance to silence, to consciousness, to mystery, and to service. And I thought what I would do, I've never done this, you'll be the first, that today, 3 of those are relevant to what we're talking about. And so I thought I'd just touch on those just briefly today. But then next Sunday when I'm with you, we dive into 2 of those deeply. And then on August 7th, we dive in deeply to the remaining 2, which will be mystery and service. So how's that sound to you? Yeah? So let's do this. Let's just touch on these 3. Silence, compassion, and mystery. I give an allegiance to silence. Silence speaks. Do you know that? It speaks. So you have to listen. You have to be still. Like the psalmist says, be still and know that I am God. And so, before every service, every class, every prayer service, every hospital visit, every counseling, every board meeting, every radio interview, every TV appearance, every challenge of my life, before everyone, for many, many, many years now, I've been silent. Before this service, silent. It'll be that way next week as well. And it changed me. Changed prayer for me in 2 ways in particular. Purpose and practice. Because prayer for me, like many people, for many, many years, it's all about the world. I can't get it done. I need some help. I call on God to get it done. So I need to be healed. I need a job. I have a decision that needs to be made. I'm dealing with depression. Whatever it is, it's all about what Jesus called, I think, added things. But you know what happened in this process of allegiance to silence? My purpose became the connection, the oneness, conscious oneness. And the last time, I'm sure you remember this, in September, last time I was here with you, I suggested a project for us where we worked on Jesus' prayer. Jesus' prayer, one of them was, I and the Father are one. Yeah, that was his prayer. It was all connection. And once the connection was made, then Spirit, God, what he called Father, has an avenue for expression. And so that's what purpose came for me, expansion of consciousness, awareness. So an allegiance to silence leads to an allegiance to consciousness. So it's a different vision. And it will manifest in your life. It will. We'll talk about that in a moment. But here's what happens first. When you establish this as your purpose in prayer and meditation, the first thing that happens because of the expanded consciousness is that you can see things you've never seen before. Understand? New understanding, new insights, breakthroughs. They weren't possible before because the consciousness wasn't there that could see. Because you see through your consciousness. That's one of the things it does. So that's the first thing that happens. You can see things you've never seen before. Yourself, others. Understand? Second thing that happens is that you can do things you've never done before. Because the source of what you do is not simply moving your body or speaking or doing whatever it is you do. That's not the source of it. The source of it is your state of mind and heart, your consciousness. And so when that expands, you can do things you've never done before. Understand? So this allegiance to silence leads to an allegiance to consciousness that eventually leads to an allegiance to mystery. And you know why? Because you can't really tell how a state of consciousness will manifest itself. You can't tell. You don't know. And it happens in astounding ways. Jesus is walking down the road. Next thing you know, there's a woman caught in adultery at his feet. Who predicts that? Nobody does. Nobody. But this allegiance to mystery, as we'll find in just a little bit, is where faith is born. Faith is born not when we know, but when we do not know. Faith is born not in the light, born in the darkness. I'll give you an example of that in a moment. Let me tell you an example story. It happened to Nancy and me that is just consciousness at work. And what I'm about to share with you is just bizarre. So just buckle up. We're on vacation, we're camping. Hey, I'm retired, right? So we're at Tetons in Jackson Hole. We want to take a hike. There's a peninsula that juts out into a lake that's there. What's the name of that lake? Coulter Bay. And so we thought, wow, walking along the water, that would really be fun. So we talked to the ranger. Said, great hike. But be advised that there's a bear there with her cubs. She's been seen there. You're welcome to go. Just make a lot of noise. Part of me's thinking, why do I want to make a lot of noise? She'll know where we are. And of course, the reason you do that is supposedly so they'll stay away from you. So Nancy and I, we were off on our hike, and we're making a lot of noise. No birds, they're out of there. And I'll tell you, when you hike in an area when you're not on the top of the food chain, it's a little disconcerting. It is. And so we're hiking along. We come to the farthest part of the peninsula, and we're starting back. We just turned, and there, right there on the trail, in the middle of the trail, is a squirrel. And he's standing on his hind legs, and he's chirping. He's just jabbering away. Nancy and I stop, and we kind of go forward. He's not moving. So he's just jabbering away, and eventually we figure out that he's saying, "You shall not pass." And so we just watch him. And then after, I'm telling you, 45 seconds, 60 seconds, he's doing this. And then he hops away. We continue on. We went about 75 feet around a bend, and all of a sudden, I smell this beastly smell. And I know what it is. It's the bear and her cubs. It's the bear and the cubs. But what saved us from harm, death, trauma, was a squirrel. Now, who could predict that? That's why you give an allegiance to mystery. Somehow, that's consciousness being made manifest. And that little squirrel got called into service. That's mystery, how it manifests. You got time for one more story? One more? I was the minister of Unity Temple on the Plaza. It's the mother church of the Unity movement. It's the part of the stream of consciousness from the original first Unity Church. So I'm the minister there, and I get a phone call from Connie Fillmore, who's the great-granddaughter of our co-founders, Charles and Myrtle. She's the president of Unity School. And she says, I want to take you out to dinner. And I thought, we were talking, I thought, well, she's going to take Nancy and me, and she's with her boyfriend. We're all four going to go out to eat. We've done that before. But no, she said, this got my attention. She said, no, it's just you and me. I want to talk to you about your destiny. That got my attention. So we went out to eat, nice restaurant, Raphael, down in the Plaza, Kansas City. And basically, she offers me a job as executive vice president of Unity School. They're reorganizing. There's going to be 2, and I'll be responsible for half of the 10 areas of ministry for the Unity movement. I told Connie, I said, I will need 40 days for prayer and meditation, literally, before I answer, if that's okay. And she said, okay. And interestingly enough, I had already established a 3-day time at a monastery just to be by myself. I was doing that in those days, not talking to anybody, 3 days of silence and so forth. So I went for my time at the very end of the 40 days, just perfect timing. And the decision just came easily. It wasn't decision making, it was decision letting it occur. So what did I do? During those 40 days in preparation in those 3 days, was I asking God, what should I do? Should I go to Unity Village? No, because it's about connection. My prayer times, that time and now, is dedicated to oneness, to connection. And I gave attention to experiencing the presence of God as life, as light, as wisdom. Because I knew if that happened, if that connection was made consciously, the decision would just come. It did. You understand? So let me say this in conclusion. There is a cosmic consciousness, a first light. Since the very beginning, building, growing, unfolding. Moses had an encounter with it. I am that I am. God's name was revealed to him. It's pure consciousness. That's what God was saying to him. Pure consciousness I am. And it's available to you, that consciousness. And in you will find in service to humanity as well. And how do we prepare for it? We give an allegiance to silence. Leads you naturally to an allegiance to consciousness. And then into mystery, because you don't know how consciousness is going to manifest itself. This is where faith is born. Like I want to compare faith to a seed. You put a seed in your hand. Will the husk break and the seed begin to become a plant? If you hold it in your hand, will that happen? No, it will not. And probably you could lay it on the ground and it wouldn't happen. Some bird would get it. But what do you have to do with a seed? You have to place it in the ground. It's got to be in darkness. That's where faith is born. In the mystery of what it is to be a human being one made in the image and likeness. And so the reason I want to bring this up again is because I'm saying to you, and I know you're here, someone in this room, someone listening, you're in a dark time. And I want you to think of yourself as the seed in the ground where you need to be, because the husks of humanity is going to break. And you're going to reach for the light. You're going to be an expression of the light. But that's where it happens. It happens in darkness. That's where faith is born. That's where you, whoever you are in here or listening, that's where it's going to happen. And so, here are the possibilities that you can have a woman thrown at your feet, and you can bend down and know the exact words to speak that will save her life and maybe transform the life of the men who want to put her to death. Or you could be walking in danger and end up standing before a squirrel, chirping and saying, "You shall not pass." And so it is. Amen. God bless you, friends. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, why don't we spend some time in prayer and meditation with a little silence to take some of the ideas that are swirling in the room and in our minds, and let's meditate upon them and see where they will take us. So let's close our eyes and take a deep breath. And as we prepare to be still and to know, just sense those around you. Eyes are closed, and yet there are others here, and you are not alone. And so breathe easily. And let your prayer be the simple one. I and the Father are one. Silence is calling. Silence wants to whisper its still small voice to say, let go. Go. No longer holding on, being held. I and the Father are one. I am one with the one. You can hear its ancient call. I am that I am. And I remember when I first awakened as a babe, there was a time when I echoed that voice and said, I am. I exist. I live. I am. My first words, I am. I'm breathing deeply, going deeper. Simple purpose, simple desire. Connection, oneness. And with it there is peace. A door opens. The kindness and compassion that God is is released from within me. Light begins to shine. There's wisdom. Words may be spoken, perfect words. The husk of my humanity breaking, being born anew, born again. So I can truly see what I've not seen before, to see what I am, to do what I've not done before. What a gift, this silence, and how it speaks, takes me into the mystery, the silence once more. And so, dear friends, let's just rest together for a few moments in the silence, knowing all is well. Let the souls express the light. In the silence. And now let us take a deep breath and sense once more the people that are here with us and the blessed words, I'm not alone. I am not alone. I am one with the one. And that is enough. Enough for this moment. And let this time of prayer and reflection be sealed as we simply utter within the depths of our soul, I'm not alone. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Jim, for just felt like a journey to me, just diving in deeper and deeper and deeper to that place that is all-knowing and unshakable and beautiful, mysterious. It was a beautiful gift, and look forward to going even deeper next week. And so we're going to anchor this with another song by John Stringer.
I want gently open my eyes. No matter what I do, your love is always coming through. When I look in any situation and I say yes, I say yes, I say yes to your love. Oh yes, oh yes, and I say yes. Great Spirit, I say yes. Father, I say yes to your love. Oh yes, oh yes, you've created me fearlessly and wonderfully to be your instrument. Use me, I surrender in this moment. Let my hands be a vessel, let my soul be a temple. Yes, yes, and I say yes. Great Spirit, I say yes. Father, Mother, I say yes. I give up everything that keeps me from knowing you, I'm knowing the truth. Oh, and I say yes. Oh, and I say yes, yes. You know I lift my hands up to you. Let my body be a vessel. Let my soul be a temple. Yes, yes, and take my hands, do what you will, and take my voice, do what you will, and take my all, do what you will. Let your love flow through me. Can you sing that with me? Take my hands and take my hands. Do what you will. Take my voice. Take my voice. Do what you will. Take my all. Take my all. Do what you will. Let your love flow through me. I know you know the plans to prosper me. Yes, give me hope in the future, and I say yes. I surrender, and I say yes. Yes, can you sing that with me? Come on. Yes, great Spirit, yes, we sing. Yes, to the joy. Yes, and we sing. Yes, to abundance. Yes, and we sing. Yes. Spirit, we sing yes to oneness, perfection. We sing yes to the great power. We sing yes, yes.
And we say yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, just want to thank I'm like, woo! Yeah, what a beautiful mystical journey. Yeah, between the music and your message and our amazing band, yes. Community here, community everywhere. Thank you. I want to invite our board member, Gail Ray, and our prayer chaplain, Megan Goshevsky, up front. And Megan is holding the prayer box, and over towards the back of the chapel here, we have prayer request forms, and we invite you to write out your prayer request. And what I was thinking was, I was reflecting on the words that Reverend Morgan shared is, you know, you in order to give in this way, you don't have to be. So the same with prayer, you don't have to be in crisis. You know, you could have some really beautiful hopes and dreams and aspirations and want some consciousness and support around that. And that's what prayer is all about. It's about holding you up during the rough times. It's about holding you up through the good times. It's about surrounding you in love and giving you the space to just live your life in that faith and that consciousness. So not only our ministerial team and our prayer chaplain team, we have a prayer team, and then the prayer requests go out to Silent Unity, where it's held in prayer for 30 days, 24/7. So we've got you. And as I like to say, God's got this. So we invite you to do that. And then Gail is holding the blue box. This is our new way of receiving love offerings. So they are all throughout the lobby, and there are many ways to support our community. We so appreciate the love offerings and the commitments that have poured through this community for us to be able to keep the doors open, to keep the lights on, to keep our ministry alive and well, to keep streaming all around the world, and that is from your support. So if you are so moved for a love offering, the blue boxes are available, and there's many opportunities to give online as well. So thank you for that. Thank you for your continued support with our community. Oh, one thing I do want to say is Megan is available for prayer after the service. If you would like in-person prayer, she is, if you go through the lobby, hang a left at the Welcome Center. Third door on the right is our nursery. We are using that sweet little space right now for prayer, so she's happy to support you in that way after the service. And John's going to share another song with us.
So, as a reminder of that connection, that silence, that entering that consciousness, imagine, if you will, hearing this from that consciousness. Here I am. I've heard that you've been looking for me. Pardon me to look for me. I think that's kind of funny. And here I am, waiting for you. So listen for me now. I can't wait for as long as it takes, because everything is already here, right now, right now. Holy instant, holy moment. Holy instant, holy moment. Oh, oh, oh. You've seen your peaks, you've seen the very moved, yet you know that you love to suffer until you're ready for some higher good. It's all good that you say, it's all good, 'cause I made it that way. The essence is eternal, an extension of myself. Holy instant, holy moment. Holy instant, holy moment. And I will lead you. Your creation of form is something else, beauty but not you. So don't get caught in how you feel when you see something go down that you don't like. Oh, remember, there's no wrong and there's no right. Holy instant, holy moment. Holy instants, holy moments, and I will lead you home. Yeah. I will lead you home. Don't be afraid to release the pain. Cry and feel the love again. Don't be afraid to release the pain. Cry and feel the love again. Oh, holy, holy. Can you sing Om, holy, 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 Om, holy, holy, Om, holy, holy, Om, holy. We are Om, holy, holy, Om, holy. I am Om, holy, holy, Om. Break it down, Ben. We are holy, with Om, holy Om.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Reverend Jim. Thank you, Dave and David and Joel and Joey and our barefoot drummer, Pete. Thank you to all of us who has joined us today and online, in person, in the future online. Thank you for everyone who's come to share with us for the first time today, and join us out in the lobby, and we look forward to having some conversation. And let's just wrap this up with our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you. Have a beautiful week. You want to play us out? Be sure to stop at the product tables out in the lobby. More information about our Legacy program.